Hello and welcome to round one of the Motul FIM Ice Speedway Gladiators World Championship in 2013. Just down the road from that most famous of Russian landmarks, Red Square, lies the Moscow suburb of Krasnogorsk. And nestled between the towering blocks of flats and the peaceful snow-covered forest is the permanent home of Moscow Ice Speedway, the Zorky Stadium. A 400-metre behemoth of an ice speedway track to test the hearts of the very toughest gladiators. A strong bond between the three top Russians there, and they were a part of our lineup of participating riders. We had quite an impressive first day parade, fireworks shocking everybody slightly, and temperatures a lot higher than they were this time last year. Last year we saw temperatures of -15, -20 with some wind chill as well, but it was about 0 degrees here. And here's our lineup. We've seen most of these guys in the team championship, and we've got a few more Russians this time. Vitaly Kamitsevich coming back and is the only reigning champion in this field now that we've lost Krasnogorsk. On to heat one and the fresh ice for these guys. We've got Pavel Chaika, Harold Seaman, Robert Henderson and Sergei Makarov. It's Pavel Chaika in the red who got the best of the early start, but he was fighting with Harold Simon, who just was held off to the line in the first race. So first blood went to the young Pavel Chaika, who's returning to the series from his last time racing here in 2010. Heat 2, Dmitry Koltakov on the inside, fighting with Edric Krysov, number 9. He's making his return, and Franz Zorn, number 8. But it would be a win for Dmitry Koltakov ahead of Krysov. Zorn picking up 1 point, and Renny Stellingworth coming in 4th. Heat 3, Dmitry Kamitsevich on the inside with the yellow. He's led from start to finish, ahead of his brother Vitaly Kamitsevich. Nice, easy win for him. Not having to worry too much, though his brother did close in on him right at the end. In fact, it'll be a great meeting for Vitaly Kamitsevich, and he's a bit of a dark horse for this championship. Antiako picking up 1 point in 3rd place. Heat 4. Gregor Znap looking to continue his form, but he missed out on practice, and his first day did not go as planned. Daniil Ivanov was the man on form. A nice, comfortable win ahead of Stefan Svensson, the Swedish veteran. Gunther Bauer came in 3rd place, just behind Svensson, to take his first point of the day. Problems there for Gregor Znap, the Polish rider, but you can see after 4 heats, the Russians are already beginning to dominate. On to heat 5, Gunther Bauer on the inside line, little bobble at the start, but in blue it's Pavel Chaika who was leading from the off. He then had to contend with both Dmitry Kamitsevich and Dmitry Koltakov, who came round him halfway through the 3rd lap, and as they crossed the stripe it was going to be Dmitry Kamitsevich who took the win over his slightly younger Russian compatriot. So Koltakov loses first blood in the first big battle of the day. Ivanov was up in the next one. Harold Simon alongside him with the white bib. Ivanov in the red on the inside, led from the very beginning. Stefan Plesacker in 3rd place early on. He'd lose out on that. Harold Simon could not quite hold on to the coattails of Daniil Ivanov. With 1 lap to go, the gap was up to a couple of seconds, and that was where it would stay. Comfortable win for Daniil Ivanov in Heat 6. On to Heat 7 straight away for these guys. Antiako, Franz Zorn, Gregor Znap, Robert Henderson, who had some engine problems early on in the day, and they would plague him, in fact, throughout the weekend. Franz Zorn led early on. He was pressured by Antiako, who had to switch out to a new engine, and he had an untied bike set up that meant he just squeaked through, holding off Robert Henderson on the line. But a good win for Franz Zorn gives him 3 points. On to Heat 8, and Sergei Makarov, Vitaly Kamitsevich, Renny Stellingworth and Stefan Svensson. Svensson on the outside in the yellow. Not a great start for him, had to drop back into 4th. Good start for Kmitovic round the outside of Makarov there. And Kmitovic riding like a man possessed on this first day. Nice comfortable win for him. Makarov, the Russian wildcard entry, coming in second position ahead of Svensson. Looking at our standings there, no real change though. Dmitry Koltikov has lost that 1 point already and now is tied with Vitaly Kmitovic. Straight away onto Heat 9 we go, and Edvard Krasov would line up in this against Pavel Chaika, Stefan Svensson and Antti Akko. Off they go on the inside in the red. It was Krasov who had a fairly slow start, and that meant that Pavel Chaika was the leader round the first turn. At the back, Akko, you can see there, the number 5, just in the coattails of Edvard Krasov, who made up a lot of ground on Chaika late on. Pushing, but wouldn't get close enough, just eventually sneaking ahead of Stefan Svensson at the line. Heat 10, Vitaly Kmitovic had a good ride, but he was up against Dmitry Koltikov, who was determined not to lose it, sneaking up the inside while looking for the gap. Here's Dmitry Koltikov running the inside line. The track's starting to rough up for these guys now. The outside line providing a little bit of a smoother ride, but it's not looking good for Kmitovic. Koltikov, number 3, needs to be winning these races, and indeed over the line, and a good win for Koltikov. Harold Simon crossed the line to take a single point for third position. Heat 11. Rene Stellingworth in the red on the inside line. Not a great start for him, lost a bit of ground when he changed up. In the blue it was Dmitry Kmitovic who had the early running, but Ivanov was all over him and in fact snuck through to take the victory just before the line. So another 3 points for Daniel Ivanov, and that's the first drop points for Dmitry Kmitovic in this event. Heat 12. Günther Bauer, Stefan Pletsacher, Sergei Makarov and Franz Zorn, and it'll be between Makarov and Zorn. Round the outside for Zorn, early leader. Makarov just behind him, the Russian wildcard. Zorn looking over the wrong shoulder. Makarov's on the outside of him here, and taking the long line and carrying a lot more speed, and that's going to catch Zorn unawares with 1 lap to go. He still doesn't know that he's there, and the win goes to Makarov. So Franz Zorn was really caught napping on that, looking over the wrong shoulder, which meant that Makarov took 3 points. After that, Daniel Ivanov, finally a bit of breathing space. 1 point in the gap over Kmitovic and Koltikov. Gregor Znap still yet to score with engine problems for the Polish rider. Heat 13, Franz Zorn straight up again alongside Daniel Ivanov. Pavel Chaika, number 11, on the outside in yellow. Pushed right back at the beginning, but Ivanov, another stunning start. Franz Zorn losing out just a little bit there to Vitaly Kmitovic, who eventually would pull up with engine problems. So Franz Zorn took second, and Kmitovic there on the right, you can see just rolling over. A bit actually fell off his bike, and the looked to be the clutch cover, and in fact a few of the clutch plates fell off. So big mechanical there for Vitaly Kmitovic. But they repair it and get that bike back on track. Heat 14, Harold Simon, Renning Stellingworth, Günther Bauer and Antti Akko. Pushed wide, Antti Akko riding number 5 in the yellow bib there. This looked like it should be a good race for Harold Simon. Indeed, he led early on, taking the inside line. Number 15, Renning Stellingworth, looked to getting his first points, and he did in second position. His first points of the day, and a better ride from the Dutch teammate to Harold Simon. Stefan Svensson, Stefan Pletsacher, Robert Henderson and Dmitry Koltikov here, and Koltikov looking to make hay while the sun shined, or in fact just before the snow started to fall. Koltikov nice and easy over the line to take the win, ahead of Stefan Svensson and Robert Henderson coming in third position. Heat 16, our final heat of this block. Dmitry Kmitovic back up once more. Sergei Makarov, the other Russian, alongside Edvard Krasov. But it was Kmitovic who had a good start from the inside lane. Krasov was the closest challenger to him. In fact, sneaking ahead round the outside there, but up the inside at the last corner, Kmitovic takes it ahead of Krasov. And important, he didn't need to lose another point there. That meant that the gap stayed at 1 point. Kmitovic ahead of Koltakov, having beaten him in their heat. Harold Simon at the moment in 4th position after his latest win. Heat 17, Pavel Chaika, Gregor Znabrele, Steningworth and Stefan Pletsacher. On the outside in the yellow. Inside in the red, Pavel Chaika, good start from him, cutting very close to that inside line. They don't want to go over that line or it's an automatic disqualification. But he looks to have run away with this one. Behind him, René Stellingworth has dropped back a little bit and Gregor Znap is having his best ride of the day. So it will be Pavel Chaika who takes that one. Gregor Znap finally gets off the board and gets his bike home to a competitive result, getting that bike dialed in on this increasingly rough Russian circuit. Heat 18, Kmitovic in the red on the inside. Good start for him from the inside gate. A little bit of bumping and boring behind them between Stefan Svensson and Harold Simon. But it would be Dmitry Kmitovic who takes it over Franz Zorn. A good result for him, pushing the Russian right to the end. Heat 19, Robert Henderson there on the inside. Vitaly Kmitovic just outside him. Gunter Bauer and Edward Krysov in the yellow right on the outside. And it would be Vitaly Kmitovic who made the early running. Robert Henderson having a good battle but losing out to Edward Krysov there. And Krysov set about trying to catch Kmitovic. Kmitovic looking over his shoulder, seeing that Krysov is there, but just managing to hold him off to the line, taking that outside line that is serving Kmitovic so well in this first day. The track really starting to kick up a lot of ruts along the inside line now as we head into our final heat, Heat 20. Dmitry Koltakov on the inside, Daniil Ivanov just outside him in the blue, and it's between these two into the first corner, bumping there for Koltakov, and he's got the initial lead over Ivanov. Ivanov, though, sweeps round in front of him as they head down into the back turn. Having to go the long way round is Koltakov, and in fact pushed wide there, which meant that Ivanov just took it at the line. There was no way round for Koltakov. So there are our top 8. Ivanov, Kmitovic, Koltakov, Chaika make it in 4th. Franz Zorn and Harold Simon are our European qualifiers for the final. In the draws, Daniil Ivanov picked that inside gate in his draw, getting there first, and it would be Kmitovic and then Koltakov getting their first and second pick for the second semi-final. Franz Zorn making sure he's got the cut out lead around his arm so that if he does crash, the engine will cut out and the bike will stop spinning, because you don't want these spikes spinning at you with the bike on its side. So Simon on the outside, Zorn just inside him, Chaika second from the right, and then Daniil Ivanov. Perhaps this is the weaker of the two semi-finals. So Daniil Ivanov, just the bike cutting to the right, should be the favourite to get through here, but it's who follows him through. Will the Austrians have a go at Pavel Chaika, number 11, who's rode very well in his first return since 2010, but it's Ivanov who's got the early running. Chaika just sitting behind him, and it's Harold Simon who's at the back at the moment, just sitting behind Franz Zorn. Daniil Ivanov got this one almost sewn up. Chaika's not going to let him get away with it that easily. Bit of a bobble there for Chaika, but not close enough at the moment. Franz Zorn still holding on in 3rd position. Ivanov looks over his shoulder and all he sees is the number 11 of Pavel Chaika, who isn't quite close enough to do anything about him at the moment. With 1 lap to go, it looks like it's all done and dusted. 2 Russians will move through and progress to the finals. Round the final bend for Ivanov. Chaika close, but no real challenge for Ivanov, just keeping the gap nice and measured. Franz Zorn in 3rd position, takes 1 point, but won't go any further today. On to our second semi-final. Now this is the tough one. We've got the two Dmitris, Kmitovic and Koltakov, starting next to each other, and then Vitaly Kmitovic, who could be the spanner in the works, and the wild card, Sergei Makarov, right on the outside there, who gets the best start, but gets the front wheel up in the air and loses out when he changes gear. So on the inside, it's Dmitry Kmitovic, who's got the lead at the moment ahead of Koltakov. Vitaly Kmitovic in 3rd position, but looking to make a move already on Koltakov. Komicevic, the elder, is having to take the inside line, but now switches to the outside and will run it the long way round, and is going to have a good go at getting past Koltakov. Koltakov just holding off, but at the moment it is the younger of the two Komicevics who's got it all in hand. The fight is for second position though, so close. Koltakov could be out of this one if he doesn't hold it. He's got to fight so hard, cutting to the inside line, but at the moment he's lost out, and moving to the inside is Vitaly Komicevic, riding for the Samara racing team. He's up into second position. Now he's looking at challenging his brother for the lead and the win of this semi-final, but he runs it wide, and it's going to be Koltakov. Pulls out the inside and goes from third to first in one corner. Brilliant riding there from Koltakov, and that's going to pull him across the line to take the win. Brilliant ride from the 22-year-old who just sliced past both of the brothers to take the win in semi-final number 2. Sergei Makarov was nowhere near the top 3, and that such was the pace of semi-final 2. As the riders prepare for the final, a little bit of tension here. 4 Russian riders, 4 guys all capable of taking the win, but the outside has got to be Pavel Chaika, a man who's returned to the series. And it's kind of unknown to us on the international scene, but we'll see a lot more of him this year. Chaika on the outside, Dmitry Komicevic in the white bib, Koltakov second from the right on the inside line. Watch for the start of Ivanov. Good start again, pushes everybody else slightly wide and gets a better line into the first corner. So great there from Daniil Ivanov, who leads can still from Komicevic, who pushes it out wide and is going to have a run at him, but he's actually going to lose out slightly to Koltakov, who pushes towards the inside but can't do it at this turn. Russians all 4 in this as we get a change for second place, and that is Koltakov, who makes it up into second position over Komicevic now, and Ivanov is away with the Pixies in this one, just managing the gap to these guys. He's got to keep it pinned, but isn't going to have to push at 100%. Number 3 in second position at the moment with 1 lap to go across the stripe. Koltakov holding off Komicevic. But it's all about Daniil Ivanov. He's the man who's got the pace today. It's from the start. It was all in that start. He pushed everybody out wider, a little bit slow in the final turn, but he'll come over the line to take the win on day 1 ahead of Koltakov, who punches the air with joy. And that's one of his best results, and a lot better than he was doing this time last year. Great result for Daniil Ivanov, starting off how he needed to here on day 1. Confirmation of those results. Pavel Chaika a little bit lonely in 4th position, but a great win for Daniil Ivanov. Overall, 21 points to 18 was the gap between Ivanov and Koltakov. Komicevic in 3rd, Chaika up in 4th position.
Я выкладываюсь каждый день на 100%.
I always try hard and do 100%, but today I felt a little bit tired, so I need to rest before tomorrow, and then I think I can do better. I think it's a big progress for me, because in Holland and in Sweden last year, I was 3rd, and then in the general classification, I was 4th. So today, from the first final, I'm in 2nd place, and I think I'm quite happy with it.
Общая 4-я получилась. А в этом году первый этап уже на 2-й позиции. Прогресс, как бы, для меня. Доволен своим результатом.
Daniil Ivanov saying, today my motorcycle was really good, so I want to say thanks a lot to all of my mechanics for the support and their work, and I'll try to keep going like this when we race tomorrow.
Они поддерживают меня так в нашем этом деле. Просто сегодня ехал хорошо, я сам так думаю, и буду стараться продолжать так же ехать дальше.
So Ivanov obviously leading the championship standings after that. And they're the same as the current point standings, but we'll see a big change when we get tomorrow's results. Onto the podium for the 3 of them in front of a rapturous Russian crowd. 3rd place for Komicevic, 2nd place for a very happy Koltakov accepting his trophy, and Daniil Ivanov, the star of Russian Speedway, in the waiting at the moment. And now, can he continue this form as we head towards day 2? The track surface at an ice speedway track is not like the ice that freezes on your pond in midwinter. It's a complicated mix of different densities and takes a 30-strong workforce to produce. And the clerk of the course for the Zorki Stadium explains to us now. We start preparations over 6 weeks before the race usually. We have 30 workers who work every day and they must prepare 30 centimeters of ice for the track surface. In our climate, we have the cold weather, and usually we have temperatures below 0 degrees. And as the temperature gets cold, first we prepare the drainage system, then we prepare some very hard snow surface, and then, after that, we start to prepare the ice. And the ice is natural here in Krasnogorsk. Harold Simon saying that Russian ice can be very different, and it depends on the weather. Now it's not so cold, so it's not really hard. When it gets to minus 20, then it's really hard. You need a good technique to make this ice, and the Russians understand this very well. But of course, it depends on the weather as we're outside. It takes a long time, with lots of water. All the time to build it up, and it happens slowly to get the best quality that doesn't have any snow within it. This ice doesn't crack because we put ammonia in the surface of the ice to keep it hard and together. We depend on air temperature, so we normally have to work for about 24 hours in every day.
24 часа в сутки.
The most important time is overnight between the 2 days of competition, and you can see that the work doesn't stop until dawn at the Zorki track to make the track smooth once more. Rennie Stellingworth is telling us that in the end of the race, when the ice is really bad with big holes, you can't go as fast as when the ice is fresh. So you have to adjust your suspension so that it feels okay, and then find the right line so that you can drive as fast as you can. In the beginning, you start like you would with a road racing setup, because it's flat, and in the end it's like motocross, so you have to adjust your suspension during the race. This track is very big for ice racing. It's big corners, so in the beginning with flat ice, you can make the suspension really hard because you don't need suspension. But when the holes get bigger and the ice stays hard, you've got to make it softer. So in day 2, they put the ice back to how it was at the beginning of day 1, but it'll soon be ripped up as we head on with our heats. Everybody staying warm for as long as possible within the sheds that house the paddock here in Krasnogorsk, and seeing a lighter side of Dmitry Koltakov. Günther Bauer, who didn't have a great first day, said the feeling after the first day was really bad, and me and my team are totally disappointed with the result. I don't know what happened. Maybe the bike was good enough, but the driver was not strong enough. And hopefully today it will become better. Maybe it comes from the head. You must think better, but the time is too short. Robert Henderson, another rider who didn't have a great opening day, will be looking for more. He says, yes, the track is really big out there, and it's quite tough for my left leg to hold it up all the time, as it just keeps on going. Yesterday was not the best for me, so we changed the engine for today, so we think it's probably going to be a lot better now.
Hoppas det ska gå mycket bättre imorgon. Vi har bytt motor nu, vi hade lite problem med ena motorn igår, och så, men det ska nog gå bättre idag, tror jag.
Those bikes warm up and occasionally blow up in the background. The riders get ready with the mechanics already warming some of the bikes up outside and head out into the cold. Heat 1 would feature Robert Henderson in the red on the inside, Rennie Stellingworth in the white, Edward Kreisov in blue, Stefan Pletsacher in the yellow. And a good start for Robert Henderson, fighting with Stefan Pletsacher early on. And Edvard Krasnogorsk just in second place, pushing up and getting ahead of the Swedish rider Robert Henderson, riding better already than he was in day one, just sitting in behind. But a problem there, actually a problem for the Swedish rider Henderson, and his bike has quit on him, and that could be serious as that bike has just had a new engine put in. Krasnogorsk left with a fairly easy run to the finish, and the final 2 points go to Stefan Pletsacher, his first points of the weekend, ahead of René Stellingberg. Heat 2, Sergei Makarov, Stefan Svensson, Vitaly Kamicevic and Gregor Znap. Gregor Znap too, another person with a new engine in his bike, and it would be Sergei Makarov who lead early on. The number 16 having a good fight with Vitaly Kamicevic once more. Kamicevic getting up the inside of him, looking over shoulder, checking and pushing just slightly wider in the long second turn. It's not over though. Makarov has got some more to offer, cutting inside and has got half wheel ahead, but a big bobble out there that's going to put him out, and that means that it will be a win for Vitaly Kamicevic, the former world champion. Heat 3, Harold Simon on the inside, not a great start for him. Pavel Chaika had a good start, and Daniel Ivanov in the white, the man who's leading early on. Chaika up behind him, but he's now under pressure from Harold Simon, who's recovered from that early bad start to push up towards second position. Will it last? He won't catch Ivanov, but he just has to give second best to Pavel Chaika and take one single point. Heat 4, Koltakov's in this one, along with Antti Akko, Franz Zorn and Dmitry Kamicevic. Number 2 riding around the outside of Koltakov. Kamicevic just got the lead at the moment. It's a bit of a grudge match between these two. Koltakov had the upper hand on day one, but at the moment it's Kamicevic who's got a better line and a better run. Down the inside, yes, and actually round the outside for Koltakov. So he's going to take this one just a bike length ahead of Kamicevic. Franz Zorn in third position. So 4 heats down, and Daniel Ivanov once more at the top. Dmitry Koltakov, Edvard Krasnogorsk, Vitaly Kamicevic with his heat win in 4th position. Antti Akko, Robert Henderson still to score. Heat 5, Dmitry Kamicevic getting ready for his next heat. He'll face Sergei Makarov, Robert Henderson, and up against Daniel Ivanov. This is a crucial one for Kamicevic. Riding red on the inside, Ivanov on the outside. Looking in the eyes of Kamicevic there, and Ivanov, great start from the outside, slots into second position, leaving the other Russian Makarov in his wake. But it is Kamicevic who's got it at the moment. Ivanov just pushing up the inside though, coming out of that bend, and he's got the pace. Just a little bit more grip and a little bit more corner speed for Ivanov. That gives him the position and the win over Kamicevic. So excellent race there for Ivanov, doing what he needs to do to open up some breathing space. Franz Zorn in red on the inside. Good start for him though. He's got Edvard Krasnogorsk and Harold Simon up near him. Franz Zorn runs it wide, and that means that Krasnogorsk and Harold Simon get through it. In fact, a problem for Franz Zorn. He's dropped right back. The bike has quit on him. So Krasnogorsk leading this one. Harold Simon in second position, the number 4, with 1 lap to go. Just trying to challenge the Russian. Can he get past? Form would say potentially. He's taken the outside line round the final bend. He's got pace, but he's not going to be close enough. And the win will go to Edvard Krasnogorsk. Harold Simon in second position with 2 points. Stefan Svensson in third, and Franz Zorn has got to get onto his second bike. Pavel Chaika, number 11, alongside Vitaly Kamicevic in the white. Dmitry Koltakov in this as well, riding number 3 and the blue, but it is Chaika at the moment who's got the lead over Koltakov. Vitaly Kamicevic in third position. Up the inside though for Koltakov. Surely he's got this one now. Yes, he moves ahead of Chaika, choosing to run that inside line. It's just a little bit quicker at the moment, and he takes the victory over Chaika. Ivax drops to third position on that final corner, and Vitaly Kamicevic took 2 points. Stefan Pletsacher on the inside. Decent start for him with Gunterbauer, Gregor Znap and Antti Akko in yellow, but it's Akko who's leading at the moment. He took the wide line in the first corner. You can see them sweeping out of shot there. riding better for Antti Akko. He's got new forks in that bike. He didn't try them on Friday's practice, and yesterday was the first time he tried them. New Öhlins front forks, and they're doing him well to take his first race win. So Russia now dominating the top 6 riders. Harold Simon best of the rest, Antti Akko in 8th, Stefan Platsacker good for him in 9th position. Pavel Chaika will line up in Heat 9 in the yellow bib, ahead of Antti Akko there in the blue. Robert Henderson, will he have his bike all working? And indeed he is out on the track. On the inside it is Stefan Svensson who gets the best start. Antti Akko alongside him with the blue helmet. Robert Henderson in white is doing well, but it's Svensson who's leading at the moment. Chaika now starting to push the 2 Europeans. And Chaika goes through the inside of one and round the outside of the other to take the lead from Svensson. Great riding from Chaika. Just has a bit more grip than these guys and perhaps a slightly pokier engine. Chaika doing what he needs to do to get in towards the semi-finals early on. And it is indeed Pavel Chaika who took that win ahead of Svensson and Akko, who was just beaten at the last. Good Tabauer on the inside for this one. Not a good start for him. Dmitry Koltakov, number 3, the man that's leading at the moment. Sergei Makarov behind him with Edvard Krysov as well in 2nd position. Koltakov takes that one. Krysov in 2nd and Makarov with 1 single point. Heat 11, René Stellingwerf on the inside. Daniel Ivanov next to him, and Franz Zorn going when the tape wasn't up. That is a false start for him, and that means disqualification for the Austrian rider. He can't jump the start. He's going to be replaced by Vasily Kosov, the young Russian who is in fact the European champion from last year, where he beat out Harold Simon in that event. And this is his first race of the weekend. He practiced, but his first real race start. And he's got to race Ivanov, who's got this early on. In fact, Kosov into 2nd place, and a great start for him. He's got the best of Gregor Znab and René Stellingwerf, and will take a 2nd position. A good win though for Ivanov, keeps his perfect scoring record alive. Heat 12, no jump starts for Vitaly Kamitsevich, his brother Dmitry, Stefan Pletzak and Harold Simon in the yellow bib, who runs it out wide. And it is the younger Kamitsevich who's got the best at the moment. Dmitry holding the lead ahead of his older brother, and indeed taking the win and the 3 points. So 9 points for Ivanov and Koltakov. Edvard Krysov up into 3rd place with 8 points, and Good Tabauer, one of the ones starting to struggle, in 12th position with just 2 points on the board. Constant adjustment, making sure these bikes are perfectly in line, and Good Tabauer has got some thinking to do as he heads out for his 3rd heat. So that is Robert Henderson, who is not going to start, and he will be replaced by Evgeny Kosov, who is the 2nd of the replacement riders, because his bike has run out of engine and he hasn't got anything else to ride. He's only got 1 bike, so he's out of this, but it's Franz Zorn who's well in this alongside Vitaly Kamitsevich. Kamitsevich has got it at the moment, and look up the inside there for Kosov. The elder of the 2 brothers is doing very well here and has moved up into 2nd position. So close to taking it from Vitaly Kamitsevich at the line, but it was Kamitsevich from his teammate Kosov and Zorn in 3rd position. Edvard Krysov in red up the inside, decent start for him. He's got Gregor Znab outside him, but it's actually going to be Dmitry Kamitsevich who is the one that is leading as we head out the 2nd turn. Kamitsevich, good speed early on in this heat, ahead of Chaika and Krysov. Chaika actually not showing as much speed and coming in 3rd behind his 2 fellow Russians in this heat. Heat 15, Antti Akko red on the inside, Harold Simon in the white. Good start for Simon and Akko. Around the outside, Makarov, number 16. The Russian wildcard cuts back inside, but can't get there around Harold Simon. He's losing out to Antti Akko at the moment, who too has put a new engine in that bike overnight. Picking up a lot of pace and riding much better than he was in day one, and he will just take it ahead of Harold Simon. Sergei Makarov having to settle for third position. Rennie Stellingworth a long way back in fourth. Daniil Ivanov on the inside with his favourite gate picker, once again pushing out wide at the start, drifting to the right and meaning he's got a much cleaner run into turn one. Dmitry Koltakov having to just hang on to him at the moment in the yellow bib number 3 as the snow begins to tip it down on this Krasnogorsk track. Ivanov has got this one in hand, choosing to run the outside line and taking the victory. Let's see how that affects our standings after 16 heats. Ivanov on 12 points, 1 point now ahead of Koltakov. Gamitsovic has made his way back up into third position, and Franz Zorn has dropped right back into 12th with those engine problems. Heat 17, Pavel Chaika's back up for this one in the white bib, alongside Franz Zorn, who's on his spare bike. Sergei Makarov and Stefan Pletsaker outside in the yellow. The snow really tipping down now, and it's changing the way that this track is performing, and a problem again for Franz Zorn. I hope that is not mechanical. He's on his spare bike, and that's dropped him back to third position. A big wobble there for Pavel Chaika, but he's leading this one at the moment. Sergei Makarov cutting up the inside, and on the final corner, Makarov takes the win. The man who they thought would be too slow to be a decent Russian wildcard has taken the event win over Chaika, who was well ahead of him in the standings. Daniil Ivanov in blue, just losing out to Vitaly Gamitsovic there at the start, and Aninis Gamitsovic, who's still leading this one, pushing a bit wide. Ivanov trying to come up the inside, but Gamitsovic has got a quick engine in that bike, and he is not going to be pushed out along the straights by Ivanov. Ivanov doing everything he can, the bike kicking and struggling for grip all the way round, but he is not going to do it. A great win for Vitaly Gamitsovic, taking the first points of Daniil Ivanov, and that changes the whole standings of things. Rennie Stellingworth on the inside doesn't get a good start in Heat 19. Dmitry Gamitsovic does, however. Stefan Svensson behind him, number 12, is Gunter Bauer, and Svensson 13, fighting for second and third positions. But it would be a win for Gamitsovic, and that was an important win after the loss of points for Ivanov. Our final heat, Heat 20, Gregor Knapp, Harold Simon, Dmitry Koltakov and Robert Henderson, in fact riding the bike of his Swedish compatriot Stefan Svensson, and dropping back early because he's never ridden that bike before. Gregor Knapp just holding on, but it's all about Dmitry Koltakov in this one. Harold Simon in second position, and that's the way it looks like it's going to stay to the flag. Great win in the final heat for Koltakov, setting him up nicely for the semi-final. As the riders come in, we'll take a look at the standings. So Ivanov is level with Koltakov on 14 points. Gamitsovic 1 and 2 just behind them, but we've lost Antti Akko, so close to making it through, and Franz Zorn not making the final on day 2. In the draw, Ivanov once more going for the inside lane in his semi-final, and Koltatov deciding which one to pick, but always going for the red as the first choice for these guys. Harold Simon takes the yellow in his semi-final too. So, Sergei Makarov on the outside of this in yellow. Vitaly Gamitsovic, Pavel Chaika and Daniil Ivanov with the inside line riding the number 1. The referee checking they're ready. They look to the side, watch the tape, and up they go. So here we go. Ivanov on the inside, Pavel Chaika next to him. Vitaly Gamitsovic in the blue. And at the moment it's Gamitsovic who's in second place. Chaika in third. And Sergei Makarov in fourth position. Daniil Ivanov. Oh, we got a crash. That's Gamitsovic is down. Gamitsovic loses it. The back kicks out and he's down, and I hope he's okay. It looks like he got collected by the bike slightly, and he actually knocked Makarov out. Makarov will get back on, surely onto his second bike, but as Gamitsovic hobbles off, let's have a look at what happened. The bike just kicks sideways, hits a patch of snow, and pretty much runs over him. I think he avoids the wheels, but limping off and problems with his leg. The tape a little bit slow to go up in the middle, but that doesn't stop Daniil Ivanov. 3 Russians now in this, and it's Ivanov from Chaika and then Makarov in 3rd position. Ivanov leading once more. He was well clear of that early carnage, and he's just got to worry about Pavel Chaika, who is very close on him and is in fact looking around the outside, so close they flash past our curb cam. Chaika looking much more aggressive in this, and better if it's possible than he raced on day 1. Wide there for Ivanov, and Chaika's going up the inside. Chaika is ahead as we cross the stripe with just 1 lap to go. Ivanov is pushing up the inside, but Chaika is going to take this one. Great result, just over the line, half a bike length. Poor Pavel Chaika, and he beats Ivanov in the semi-final. What a result for the young Russian. Sergei Makarov gets 1 single point for coming in 3rd position, and Vitaly Kamitsevich is on his way to the hospital to get checked out. Semi-final 2. And it's Dmitry Koltikov on the inside. Next to him, Dmitry Kamitsevich, then Edvard Krysov and Harold Simon on the outside with the yellow bib. The head's flicked down, the tape comes up, and away we go. Koltikov on the inside loses out slightly to Dmitry Kamitsevich and also to Krysov, who moves up into 2nd, but only briefly as Koltikov gets back up inside. Krysov, yellow and white, riding the long way round. But it's Koltikov who is just holding 2nd position at the moment. It's always difficult as these guys take different lines to see who's ahead, but normally the inside line is ever so slightly better for acceleration out of the corners. Kamitsevich is leading this one at the moment. The bike kicks up a little bit, and he's just starting to be caught now by Koltikov. He's going to pick it up as they head over the stripe with 1 lap remaining round the outside for Koltikov. Kamitsevich just turning that bike in, fighting the bumps, cutting as close to the red line as he can, but he will take it. Kamitsevich takes the win and the 3 points ahead of Koltikov, and that'll give him a better point as Koltikov's dad looks on, a man who lives and breathes every moment with his son. Krysov in 3rd, Harold Simon once more missing out on a final position in 4th place. So for the draw, Ivanov takes the 1st pick because he's still leading in points. And despite winning his semi-final, it means that Pavel Chaika will get the final pick and start on the outside with the yellow bib. Inside him is Koltikov, then Kamitsevich, and Daniil Ivanov. Watch him and see if he cuts to his right or left as he watches the tape rise and guns that Jawa engine. Yeah, he cuts. Oh no, but a bit of a problem there. The bike gets out of control. He started off well, but just after about 3 meters, the bike cut out on him and the front wheel caught on the ground. So he's in 3rd place at the moment, and that means that we have Koltikov, who's leading, Kamitsevich in 2nd, Ivanov in 3rd at the moment. It's Koltikov who is at the moment leading this race and doing the best out of the 3 Russians. He's actually got a decent gap, and the fight is for 2nd. Ivanov up into 2nd now. Kamitsevich in 3rd, and a moment there, Koltikov loses it in the middle of the corner, and both of them are through on him. And now Ivanov is up into 1st place, just cuts up inside Kamitsevich. Koltikov isn't done though, he's going around the outside of Kamitsevich, but Ivanov has come from 3rd to 1st and is pulling away from these guys to take the win. 2 days running for Ivanov, and it was just Kamitsevich who held off Koltikov to take 2nd position. Koltikov ruining a missed opportunity with that one mistake, and that cost him dearly. Ivanov, a great win and a rapturous applause from the crowd for the young Russian, taking 2 out of 2 here in Krasnogorsk. Confirmation of Ivanov, Kamitsevich, Koltikov and Pavel Chaika once more finishing in 4th position in his 2nd final of the weekend. In the standings overall, Vitaly Kamitsevich was best of the rest, ahead of Krysov, Makarov and Harold Simon in 8th. Gregor Znap, not a good opening weekend for him, in 16th position.
Просто попал не в прометенную колею, была шуга.
This is Dmitry Koltikov saying, on the 2nd day the ice was covered with snow in some places, and I caught the snow that was on top of the ice and almost crashed. After that, I really didn't have time to catch the other guys again.
Потерял время, и не было времени, меня обогнали соперники, не было времени догнать их. Уже не хватило, остался последний круг. Немного не повезло.
Ну, каждый
Dmitry
финал очень
Kvitsevich is
сильный.
saying that all the finalists were very strong, and today the races were unpredictable. I was the first, then it was Koltakov, was first, then Daniil was first. Tomorrow and in the next finals, I'll do my best.
Следующий этап стараться попасть на первое место.
Я даже сейчас не смогу
Daniil Ivanov, the winner again, says it's hard to remember now as everything happened in just a few seconds, so let me think.
Так, что же?
At first, it was Kvitsevich, I think. He made the overtake. And then I took him back, and I thought I need to make the gap bigger, so I just pushed as hard as I could to the finish.
Надо было уезжать от них, отрываться.
That means that he leads the championship by 40 points to 35. Kvitsevich and Koltakov tied on 35 points. Pavel Chaika in 4th position. Franz Zorn in 9th, heading page 2 ahead of Stefan Svensson and Antti Akko. So that's it from 2 great days of racing here in Krasnogorsk. We'll be back with the next round from Russia again in Togliatti, and will Ivanov continue his winning streak?